Welcome to Inside Warhawk Sports. I'm with UW-Whitewater head track and field coach Mike Johnson. Coach, you ran hurdles, sprints, and relays as a student athlete for the Warhawks. When you graduated in 2006, did you ever think you would return to Whitewater and be the head of the entire track program?
No, I mean, it was, actually I didn't even think about getting into coaching until, later part in my career. I was finishing up school and, was helping out with the team, and that's pretty neat. So I started, kind of exploring some things, pursuing more education, getting more experience, and just kind of rolled from there, but never thought I'd be able to, come back here to your alma mater and do that. So, went out into the coaching world and got some other opportunities, but when this one came up, it was hard to pass it up, so.
Overall, you are not only in charge of just the men or the women, you're in charge of both track and field programs. What's the greatest challenge in overseeing two different programs in a way?
Well, I think our sport's a little unique because, the men and the women are doing a lot of the same kind of activities. We share coaches and everything. So in some aspects, it's just the volume of people. And we've got a big staff. We've got a lot of individuals, 120 men and women. But at the same time, it's not really that difficult either because you're doing a lot of the similar things. So, the volume is kind of there, but as far as the intensity of the workload, it's not really a big challenge.
The indoor season's coming up. Last year, the men and women finished second and fourth in the indoor season and the conference, respectively. What's the greatest challenge for your program to be better prepared when in time for the Badger Track Classic, the Carl Schlendler Invitationals, among all those other tournaments? What's the greatest challenge for getting off to a really good start to the year?
Well, we have quite a long season. We just started practice last Monday, so it's preparation is a big part of that. And ours is a very heavy recruiting-based sport. So, it's all about bringing in to fill your needs and your depth areas and, making sure you have the strength. So balancing all those facets, and then because it's a team sport but also an individual sport, how the individuals perform on those days affects how the team does. So, it's kind of all in the preparation to hopefully get them ready for what they need to do when the big meets come.
There's not only an indoor season in track, there's also an outdoor season. What do you feel is like the hardest part about transitioning from competing indoors to competing outdoors when it come April?
Well, I think the toughest thing, of course, in the Midwest is the weather. And, we're inside quite a bit. We've got a great facility for that. But at the same time, there's certain things that you can't do in an indoor facility that you can outdoors. So, trying to balance that out where we're out in the weather, getting used to the outdoor season, but not trying to jeopardize, our athletes' safety and, the things that we're doing at practice that are affected by the weather is the biggest challenge, and that changes from year to year. So 2 years ago, as we transitioned to the outdoor season, we were inside most of the spring, and then last year I think we were inside twice. So it just kind of depends on what the season's going to be like.
Now, I've always heard about the Drake University Relays, and I think a lot of people have also, how it's the most prestigious and most nationally recognized track meet every year. But what really is it? What makes it so prestigious? I'm kind of curious. I think people are kind of curious. What can you tell us about those relays?
Yeah, it's a great event. It's one of the oldest track meets in the country, so it's very prestigious, got a lot of history to it, a lot of rich tradition, and it's represented by, professional post-collegiate athletes, Division I, II, and III, NAIA. You've got junior colleges, so it's a wide variety of athletes that are there. But just getting into the environment and seeing the awe-inspiring facility and the athletes that were there before you is pretty neat. And then be able to compete on that track, competing against some of the best teams in the country that come to Iowa to be able to compete is a pretty neat experience for our kids.
Lastly, Coach Johnson, what do you enjoy most about coaching the men and women in the track and field program here at Whitewater?
We have a great, of course I'm biased, but a great pool of men and women. And just seeing them come into our program to develop, become mature young men and women as they go out into the real world, and then seeing them come back. So the interaction with the kids is probably the most rewarding part.
For Inside Warhawk Sports, that was UW-Whitewater head track and field coach Mike Johnson. I'm Sean Tien.